Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Everyday Finance with Jay. My name is Jay. Last week, the President of the United States signed the $2 trillion stimulus package, and specifically on March 27th. I'm sure you may have heard about the $1,200 check that a lot of Americans, not everyone, will be receiving. And let's just say there are 300 million people in the United States. There's a little bit more than that, but not everyone is an adult. And let's just say 300 million people will be receiving a $1,200 check. And if you divide the trillion by that number of people, everyone should be receiving about 6,600 and some odd dollars in form of a check. So the actuality is $1,200 and $500 if you're a minor. Is so far removed from the $6,600. So where else is the money going? Today we'll be exploring in this video what else is the $2 trillion helping and in which specific category is that going into. The first portion is something we already alluded to earlier in this video, which is going to pay everyone in America. And there are people groups that are not included in that. You can read more online, but more specifically, a lot of people will be receiving the $1,200 check. And to calculate how much you'll be receiving personally, there's a link down in the description box to click on to calculate with your gross income and number of people in your household. So about 30% of the total $2 trillion will be dedicated towards that portion, which is $603.7 billion. And part of the $600 billion is also going towards unemployment benefits. So the unemployment is about 260 billion of that total sum. And what that will contribute to is the federal government will hand out additional unemployment payments of $600 per week. And that will last through July 31st, 2020. And in order to qualify for that portion, you have to be on the unemployment insurance in your state. And you might ask yourself, what if my hours have been cut, or I'm working from home and not working as many hours as I used to? And because of that, what if the income I'm earning will be less compared to the $600 from the federal government and the unemployment payment from your state? Well, that very well could be true, and unfortunately, if that's the case for you in which you're still working, you will not qualify for that $600 benefits from the government. And thinking about some numbers in your head, there are going to be some Americans which would make financially more sense to be collecting unemployment payments from the state and from the government, because you'd be working so few hours at your current job, you'll earn less money working than just collecting unemployment payment and the unemployment insurance. Well, that is an important decision that you might have to think about. And if you have other questions about this specific topic, there's a link down in the description below to frequently asked questions. And the one we just discussed was part of the list. So it's very useful data if you want to check that out. What is remaining is 70% of the stimulus package. We just talked about what will benefit towards everyday people living in the United States, but there is still 70% of $2 trillion left. A part of that 70%, 25% or $500 billion are dedicated towards large corporations such as airlines. And you may have heard about airlines in the news a lot recently. Because of the lack of demand, air travels have become less and less popular. Thus, airline company stocks have taken a deep dive. And since the stimulus package came out and was signed, the airline stocks have continued to increase. But in my personal opinion, since the COVID-19 cases are continuing to rise in the United States and around the world, the demand to fly and travel might continue to drop or stay at a very low level. Even with the stimulus package, the demand contributing to the uncertainty in airline stocks will continue. besides airlines and large corporations, one of the most vulnerable part of the market is small businesses. And that is why the United States, the stimulus package is dedicating 19%, about $377 billion to small businesses. And because small businesses are small, their cash reserve could potentially be insufficient to weather through this disaster if it continues for the rest of 2020. And because of that, that's why the federal government is stepping in, trying to save as many small businesses as possible. At this point, out of the $2 trillion, we already covered 30% going to individuals in form of a check or extra unemployment benefits, 25% going to large corporations, 19% to small businesses. The next portion is 17%, or about $339.8 billion. And that is going to state or local governments. And the categories that the state or local government will be using this fund for goes towards to, but not limited to, COVID-19 response, higher education, K-12 schools, family programs, block grants, and so forth. And as more and more states are closing down non-essential businesses and testing more people, states and local governments will continue to spend a large amount of money trying to fight this coronavirus. And the last but not least on the list to wrap us up is about 9%. And that will go towards to public services, and it's about $179.5 billion. And public services include but not limited to like hospitals, VA, healthcare, drug access, food banks, and so forth. With everything we have covered today, that's a lot of money, but all these numbers are still not set in stone, and the final decision to dedicate how much fund to each of those categories or add more to it will be determined by the Secretary of Treasury. And today, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. For future videos, if you have any tips and suggestions on what you like to know, please comment down below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And thank you so much. Stay healthy and have a wonderful rest of your day.